There I was, 16 years old at Bishop McNair Private School in PG County. And my friend Kim was telling me that she was going through something and she didn't really know what was really going on until she went to the doctors and she was getting ulcers. She was getting ulcers because she was gay. And she was trying to figure out how she should tell her parents. She was stressing out and she didn't know who else to talk to, and she came to me. And there I told her, I think you should tell your parents your truth. Walk in your truth. Tell them who you are, because they're going to love you regardless. You are their child. And during that time, with her being nervous, she definitely listened to me, and she definitely told her parents that she was gay, and everything turned out the way that I said that it would, because ultimately when you show up and be who you are and your most authentic self, at the end of the day, you can never go wrong with the truth. And now, fast forward 30 years later, I'm in the barbershop and I'm cutting one of my clients' hair, and he's telling me that, the fire in his marriage is leaving. And, he's telling me that he really doesn't know what to do with his wife, and he's just unsure. And now that I'm trained, now that I've worked with multiple people and different personalities, I just told him, it's time for you to date your wife. It's time for you to take her out, let her know that you still care. You still care about dating her, even though you guys are married. You still got to show up. Nobody likes to plan their own dates. Women like to just show up and know that somebody took the time, the effort, and the consistency to make things happen. And that's what he did. He said he listened. He said that he took my advice, and now they're back on track. Because at the end of the day, for me, my superpower has been just being able to listen to people, relate to people, be compassionate, and not to be judgmental. Because at the end of the day, we all struggle with something. And I think it's important for us to just be able to listen, be able to be our most authentic selves, and know at the end of the day, you can never go wrong with being who you are and being true to you. I'm sitting at the table, at my kitchen table. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and he comes walking in the door. And I asked him one simple question. Do you think it's okay for you to come in our house at 5 o'clock in the morning? And he looks at me and answers without even answering. And at that moment, I realized that I couldn't marry him. I took my ring off and I slid it across the table. As I sat there, I understood that giving him the ring back would definitely cause a setback in my life, because I had 3 children at the time. I had a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And I knew that he was the type of person that would try to get back at me and wouldn't give me any money, or at least do his part as a parent, just because he was hurt that I no longer wanted to get married. Prior to that, I've had to deal with a lot of abuse mentally, emotionally. My son has seen me get, pushed down to the couch. And at that moment in time, I realized that it was time for me to leave, despite what would come my way. Well, I asked myself one day, how did I get here? I found myself on public assistance. I had to, ask my sister for guidance and help on how I should be able to move forward. And public assistance made me feel very shameful and embarrassed, because, again, how did I get here? My parents did everything that they possibly could to make sure that I avoided this path. But at the end of the day, I had to have the courage to move forward. I had to have the courage to know that this wasn't where I needed to be. And as I took out my food stamp card, as orange as it wasn't discreet at all. At the end of the day, I had children that I needed to feed. And one of the setbacks that I took was that I was fighting for somebody else's potential. I was fighting for his potential. I knew what he could be, but at the end of the day, he wasn't being those things. Just because you have potential, it doesn't mean that you can live up to it. You have to want to. And that's when I realized I needed to stop fighting for his potential and started fighting for mine. And at the end of the day, I had children that I had to show up for. At the end of the day, I had to start over. And it's okay. It's okay to start over because my children know my truth and they know at the end of the day I wasn't perfect. It's never how you start, it's how you finish. And I had the courage to start over with 3 children, single mom, and I did it. And it was okay. And I'm glad I did. It's August 2015, and I'm running at the Potomac Marathon. It's pouring raining outside. It's cold. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to make it through this marathon. I'm cramping. I feel absolutely miserable. And in that moment, I knew a decision had to be made. I had to make a decision on whether or not I was going to stop or if I was going to keep going. And in that moment, I realized that my training allowed me to be prepared for that moment. There's been plenty of times when I went out training and I told myself that I could not come back in the house until I completed the number of miles I said that I would do, whether that was 5, whether that was 8, whether that was 10. I was not allowed to come back in that house until it was done. So while I was running that marathon, despite how I was feeling, as awful as I felt, I remembered my training days. I remembered that I had to stay true and committed to what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to run a marathon despite how I feel, because we make a lot of decisions based off of our emotions. But mentally, I told myself to get it done. So that's what I did. I ran. I kept going. I didn't focus on the fact that I felt bad. I focused on finishing. I focused on the commitment that I made to myself internally and externally. I remember all of the days of me training and preparing for this day right here. Every day we have choices and decisions that need to be made. And that day, even though I was feeling bad, even though I wanted to give up, even though my body was telling me, girl, you have done enough, you ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. At the end of the day, I did. I had something to prove to myself, to my kids, that when you tell yourself to do it, you follow it and you get it done. And that's what I did. I made a decision to continue to finish, and I finished it. If I can give someone advice that is 21 years old, I would tell them, I remember when I was 6 years old, and during that time, that was the time where all the parents, all the adults made the kids go in the basement, either in the basement or outside. But all of us were in the basement having fun. And I remember my mom's godson telling me to stay downstairs as everyone was going upstairs. He said, Jenise, stay downstairs. And I'm 6, so I'm like, okay. And I stay downstairs, and he proceeds to touch me inappropriately. And in that moment, I realized that what he was doing was wrong, but I really didn't understand. I was 6 years old. So throughout my life, throughout my childhood, never really paid it any mind. I would hear things about, people being molested on the radio. And as I started getting older, I started putting pieces together. And that's when I realized, wow, that's what happened to me when I was 6. I was actually molested. That's what that was called. And during that time, I kind of suppressed it. I didn't want to tell my mom because it was her best friend's son. And I didn't want to get to a place where I was going to cause friction. Even at 6 years old, I made that decision to put other people before myself because I did not want my mom and her best friend arguing about whether it was true or whether it wasn't. So I let it go. So if I had to tell someone at 21 what they should do, it would be to heal themselves from any trauma, anything that they had going on in their past that they are suppressing. I believe that we are the foundation. We are the blueprint to our success. And if we aren't whole, how can we build anything on it? When I lost my mom, I made a decision to date someone that wasn't for me. I didn't heal from my mom's death. When you don't heal, you allow for other things to come in, to burden you, to hinder you. And when you don't take the time to focus on yourself, to heal from the things that you don't really want to deal with, it's understandable, because the truth hurts. It hurts to say that, hey, at 6 years old, I was touched inappropriately. It hurts to say, why did something like that have to happen to me? I was young. I didn't know what was going on, and that followed me. When you don't heal yourself, again, you hinder yourself from moving forward. It's important to walk in your truth, to make sure that you're okay with telling your story and being okay to heal from the things that you have struggled with in your past. It is okay. When you heal yourself, you set and lay a foundation that is wholeness. It's like walking on thin ice. You wouldn't want someone to say, hey, come over here, and you see that the ice is thin. You would know that you would fall straight through, and you wouldn't want to do that. So you have to look at your life like that. You want to make sure that your foundation is stable. You want to make sure that you're able to be grounded. So being healed, being whole is important. It's important to focus on you. It's important to make sure that everything that you have struggled with, trauma that you have dealt with, you have confronted it head on. Because when you do that, you lay a foundation that you're able to walk on, stand on, and build on. So heal yourself first, take care of yourself, and make sure that you do what you have to do to make yourself whole. There's a huge problem in the world with women who struggle from healing from past trauma, women who need to overcome from imposter syndrome, and women who really need to learn how to be disciplined so that they can truly get the life that they desire and deserve. I have a client who is very successful. She's a therapist. She's a mom of 2. She helped kids overcome with educational needs, behavioral problems, kids who are struggling with their own self-confidence and whereabouts with just who they are as they're transitioning from age of getting older. And she is struggling herself with her own self-confidence, her lack of insecurities, and just truly loving herself because of things that she struggled with growing up. Her mom and her dad, they threw money at her, but they didn't give her the things that don't cost. They forgot to give her the love. They forgot to give her the time and the attention that she yearned for. It wasn't the material things that she wanted, but it was the love that she needed. It was the love that she needed from her dad to understand who she is as a woman and to know what not to look for as she started to date. But her stepfather touched her inappropriately when she was young, and she told her mom, and her mom didn't believe her. She didn't do anything about it. So here we are. There's so many women who don't have problems with their success and their goals and the things that they want to do business-wise, but personally, they're struggling. They're struggling on who they are and what they want out of life. And I think it's important that when you heal and you truly know who you are, you're able to overcome anything. You're able to live the life that you deserve and you desire in life. And I believe that every woman should be able to walk in their truth and live a life that they deserve and they desire, no matter what the circumstances that they've had in life. They can live the life that they deserve. Why do people like to work with our company? One of the main reasons is because they trust us. They don't feel that we will judge them. When you're dealing with a lot of past trauma, when you're dealing with a lot of internal things that you're trying to overcome, the last thing you want to do is go to someone that's going to judge you or make you feel uneasy about you being able to start the process of walking in your truth. I remember I had a client that came to me about her fertility issues. Here I am, a mother of 3, but she felt comfortable enough to come to me about her really struggling with having kids. She didn't feel like I would judge her. She didn't feel like I would say, oh, you're not a mom by now, you're not. She trusted me to give her advice on how she should move forward, because the fertility issues in the world with women is very, very huge. It's a very big deal. And she came to me getting advice on how she should move forward. She continued to get the fertility treatments. She continued to pay out all of this money, and she's just trying to be a mom. That's it. And sometimes that is very mentally draining. It's very tough when you don't really have control over the things that you would like to have control over. So I had to help her to just be mentally grounded, to have faith, to have trust, to just do what she can on her end, eat healthy, work out, do what she could do, take control over what she could take control over, despite what the doctor says. So I think for our company, a lot of people love to work with us because they trust us. They know that the information that they give us is confidential. They know that we believe in them, and they believe in our product. They believe that we are compassionate. They believe that we have the answers, because our team had to overcome a lot of things in our lives. We had to overcome a lot of different circumstances where, again, someone could have judged us. So we know how important it is to be compassionate about every client that comes to us, because every client is different, and we have to handle you all with care. So that is why I believe that it's a lot of people hire us, because of that one reason: trust. What have I enjoyed most about this experience is that this was an experience. It was truly awesome working with Shay and his team. Everything was together. Everything was precise. You know, that's what business is all about. It makes things easy for you when things are prepared. Everything that you need is there. Walking in, I literally felt like I was at home. And that is a great feeling when you're walking into an establishment, especially when you're about to record. The people were great and friendly, and it definitely gave me hope on how I should run my business moving forward, just having everything seamlessly and having a great team that's just going to make your experience amazing. This whole DocuSeries was an experience within itself. I enjoyed it. It was a great time, and I look forward to working with Shay and his team in the future.